Hey, YouTube's here. How are you guys doing? We've got YouTube, we got TikTok going, we got everything going at once tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about solo traveling on cruises, which, you know, the cruise lines don't always do the best job in the world. They seem to penalize the solo travelers for some reason. But as I found out in a meeting tonight, there's a river cruise line out there that has 40 departures that are solo only. So, you know, if you're looking to go out and meet a bunch of your fellow solo travelers, well, look at that. I've got over 40 itineraries, well, 40 departures, 11 itineraries, 40 departures from one cruise line alone. So how's everybody doing? Who's here? Let's see. Oh my goodness, I got a whole bunch of folks over here on TikTok. Wow. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Good to see you. Hey, Betty and Kaylin. Hello. How are you guys? Act normal, join right on time. That's hilarious. Good to see you. I know we're normally on Sunday mornings. Here we are on a Thursday night. Hey, Tara, how are you? Good to see you. So today I had a really interesting meeting with the fine folks over at Riviera River Cruises. We had a great call for about an hour today. And I got to say, I'm new to Riviera. I didn't know that. I mean, I know the name of the brand. I've seen them out there. But I didn't realize how solo supportive this particular river cruise line is. They've got 11 itineraries that are specifically solo only, which is really interesting, right? You know, so if a ship holds, say, 100, 110 people, it's only going to be 50 or 55 people on the river ship, which is absolutely amazing. And first of all, folks, if you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor. If there's anything we can do to help you out with cruise, land, luxury, or expedition, just reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, There are links down in the description. If you're watching us on TikTok, you can click on our logo, and there are links in there on how to get in touch with us. Our services are 100% free. We do not charge at all for our services, and we just really enjoy helping you all find amazing vacation. And tonight, if you're just tuning in, the main topic is solo cruising, but you are welcome to ask me questions about anything at all to do with cruising, including all the news from Princess, a little bit. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of don't like what Princess announced today. Hey, Sue. Hey, Norma. Hey, everybody. Wow, we got a lot of folks coming in on TikTok as well. If you didn't see the announcement, Princess Cruises announced the new, what do they call it? The new, thanks, honey. What's that? YouTube audio sounds hollow. Are you not on? Oh, no, it's on. I don't know. Rebecca is saying that the YouTube audio doesn't sound quite right. Let's see. Are you all the way in? No, it's all the way in. I don't know. I apologize, guys. She said it doesn't sound that great on YouTube. I don't know why. It should be good. I've got everything all hooked up here. So I apologize if it doesn't sound the best on YouTube. And anyway, so today Princess announced the Sanctuary collection. Oh, it's better? Okay, maybe it was just loose. Thank you, Betty. I just pushed the wire in. Yay, pushing the wire in. Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. So today Princess Cruises announced the Sanctuary collection. And the Sanctuary collection means that they are basically giving you the retreat, the celebrity retreat, if you will, now on Princess Cruises. But what it means is they're taking the Sanctuary away from everybody else on the ship. It used to be that, you could just get on the ship the first day. You can sign up for the Sanctuary, which was a beautiful place up in the front of the ship. But now on the Sun and the Star Princess, this is going to be exclusive area only for those who are staying in Sanctuary suites. Those are people in the Reserve collection. Those are people staying in suites, things like that. So the rest of us won't be able to partake of the Sanctuary, which we were actually going to do in October, but we're not staying in a Sanctuary suite. So thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Nurse. Hey, Jen, how are you? Good to see you all. And then again, so tonight our main topic is, and I know I'm just kind of babbling, I'm on my own, like Rebecca's not even here. So it's just me talking to you all. Tonight we're going to be talking about solo traveling on cruise ship. It's a big topic. And the biggest reason is, solo travelers generally have to pay the full double occupancy if you're going to go on a cruise. And it's not fair. It's really not fair. But there is actually a practical reason why the cruise lines do it. And it has to do with the light boats. It has to do with the fact that when there's a double occupancy cabin, there's only one person staying in that cabin. The cruise lines, they count both of those berths in there to the light boat. And what that means is that the cruise line, if there's a triple or a quad down the line, they may not be able to sell that triple or quad because you're taking up 2 of the seats in a light boat. Once a muster station is full, I can't sell any more staterooms in there. So that's actually the reason why solo travelers pay, double for the same room. And so it's not just the cruise line wanting to get, double the money. It's just them wanting to, make up for the fact that they can't put that person in a triple or a quad. Now, I was talking about Riviera Cruises, and I know y'all over on TikTok can't see the graphics, but Riviera Cruise Line, they are a river cruise line and a yacht cruise line. So over in Europe, they have yachts that hold 35 or 36 people that go up and down the Adriatic. And then, of course, they have the river cruises out in Europe. Now, they have it's pretty much all inclusive, including an open bar from 6 p.m. to midnight. I like that idea. It's like anything you want from 6 p.m. to midnight. It's standard. It's included. I love it. Judy, yeah, you could, Judy is saying that she would just take both seats on the light boat. I mean, it just means you can stretch out. In the case of an emergency, it means you are that person that gets to stretch out because you've got, elbow room. Let's hope it never comes to that. But yeah, that is the reason. So the Riviera Cruises, they have 40 solo only departures. Now, not only do they have this, but then they have no solo supplement or 25% solo supplement on many itineraries. And that is, well, they say all itineraries, but the thing is only while supplies last. They only have a limited number of these no solo supplement or or 25% solo supplement on every cruise, but they have them on every single cruise. There's either going to be no supplement or there's going to be 25% solo supplement. So what that means is when I say 25%, it means you're going to pay your fare. Let's say it's $1,000, and then you're going to pay 25% more of that second person. So that'd be $250. So instead of paying $2,000 for 2 people in a cabin, you're going to pay $1,250 to be in a double occupancy cabin, which that's not bad at all. I think that's more than fair. And they have that literally on every single. They have that on every single departure that they do. Again, this is called Riviera River Cruises, and they also have yachts as well. And I have some of the itineraries, which I'm going to show to the folks on YouTube, and I'll read them off to everybody over here. And by the way, if y'all got questions, feel free to just start dropping your questions in about cruise ships, cruise lines. I will do my very best to answer them. I don't have my backup with me tonight. Rebecca's not out here, but I'll do my very best to answer your questions about all things cruising. And of course, if we can help you in any way, just reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com? I got to switch glasses so I can see this. All right. So solo only river cruising. You can do Burgundy, the River Rhone, the Blue Danube. We've got Douro, Porto. I'm going to kill some of these words, so I'm so sorry. The Blue Danube, Douro, Porto, and Salamanca River. We have the Enchanting Rhine and Yuletide Market. So yes, a Christmas market cruise, totally solo. Everything I'm reading right now is only for solo travelers. The Danube, Imperial City, and Yuletide Market. There's 2 different Christmas cruises. And by the way, the Christmas market starts at $19.99. That's the total price. Port fees, taxes, everything. $19.99 for a solo traveler to go and take a Christmas market cruise. That's 6 days. 6 days there. $21.49 for the Enchanting Rhine. Bruges, medieval Flanders, Amsterdam, the Dutch bulb fields, so the tulip fields, $35.49 for a solo traveler. Just go see that. The Rhine, Strasbourg, Heidelberg River. Oh, I got to get another graphic up over here because I'm going right on by y'all. Rhine, Strasbourg, Heidelberg River. We got Amsterdam, Kinderjelijk. I'm probably saying that all wrong. $20.49, so $2,049 for 5 days. 8 days for $33.99. I've got 8 days. Rhine cruise to Switzerland for solo travelers. Now that one's a little more expensive because it is an exclusive, and it's something that hardly anybody does. $48.89. And then the Rhine and Moselle River cruises for solo travelers, $34.99. So these are amazing cruises. And I know I just kind of read that through quickly. If anybody wants me to repeat any of those, I'll be more than happy to do that. But the point is, there are really good river cruises out there. And some of the cruise line, you wish Carnival would do a few solo cabins on each cruise. You go solo and they should recognize you. And it doesn't make sense to me that like we're getting the big ships, right? And I was in Fort Lauderdale last week and at a cruise conference, and one of the things we were talking about is the growth of solo travelers. Solo travelers make up 10% of all cruise travelers in 2023. That's a lot of people, right? And how come we don't have solo cabins? Like the brand new Icon of the Seas, would it have killed them to put 10 solo cabins on there, 20 solo cabins on there, right? There's 7,500 people. You couldn't put 10 solo cabins on there. And the Sun Princess actually is their first ship that has solo cabins. They have 4. They have a total of 4 on there. So yeah, I wish Carnival would put some on there. Surprisingly enough, Royal Caribbean has quite a few solo cabins out there. You just gotta find one. You gotta know where they are. We have the list, by the way. So if you want to go on Royal Caribbean, you want to go solo, we have the list of everything. Kaylin is asking if we've ever taken a European river cruise. The answer is not yet. Soon. Not yet. That is on our list. We are ready to go. In fact, I'm looking at Riviera. I'm also looking at another company called Riverside. And, volume should be good on the on TikTok. I can see the levels are real good on my end. Act normal. Yeah, so we're going next year, hopefully, and it's either going to be Riverside or it's going to be Palm possibly Riviera. Those are probably going to be the two that we're going to end up going on. At normal, what is the typical cruise length for these river cruises a week? So the ones that I just read off to you that were solo cruises, we are running, the shortest one is 5 days and the longest one is 8 days. So what I was reading off. So I've got a 5 day starting at $21.49. That's a Christmas market. And then 6 days starting at $19.99, another Christmas market. So it just depends, on where you're going. It is kind of like the Caribbean, where there are certain places that are going to be prime and are going to cost a lot more to go to. But yeah, so that's what we're getting there with these river cruises. And it's amazing. I mean, when I saw some of the pricing, I was like, what? Yeah, right. Act normal. You've never considered a river cruise, but now you're intrigued. I mean, absolutely. I couldn't get over some of these prices that they were offering. In fact, of course, we had to call our friend Stef, who cruises solo now, and it's like, oh my God, Stephanie, look at some of these rates. So we're definitely going to go and hopefully all go together, because that's what I really want to do. Desiree, good morning, good to see you. Kathy, how are you? Well, if solo travelers will pay the 100% supplement, no changes will happen. Well, the problem with that, Kathy, is either you pay the 100% supplement on some of these cruise lines or you don't cruise, right? So, I mean, so right now is you kind of have to pick and choose where to go. And in fact, I'm going to put up, I have a graphic and we'll talk about the solo-friendly cruise lines that are out there. And, if you're a solo traveler, then you really have to take into account, am I okay paying that 200%? Hey, Bill, I just see you there. Bill, how are you? Bill is joining us from the Scarlet Lady, somewhere out in the Atlantic on your way to Barcelona. They are on the transatlantic. They left Miami a few days ago. They are on their way to Barcelona. Hi, Bill. I can't believe you're watching us from the show. That's hilarious, from the ship. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a great time. They look like they're having an amazing scavenger hunt on the ship, which is really cool for something this long. Hey, Amazing Adventures. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. So anyway, back to, solo travelers making a change. I mean, you do kind of get to spend with your wallet. If you really want to go on certain ships, you're going to have to pony up that double occupancy if you really want to go on the ship. Or, you start to look at some of these solo friendly cruise lines. So let's talk about that a little bit. So cruise lines that are solo friendly, right off the top, Virgin Voyages. And by the way, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are the ones that come to mind when I think solo traveling, when I got solo travelers coming to me. These are some of the cruise lines that come right off the top. So Virgin Voyages, the number one, they are 18 plus only, but they have solo inside and they have solo ocean view. And the solo ocean views are kind of cool because they're up in the front of the ship and they're triangular shaped. So they're actually kind of really, really cool. And then they have the solo inside, and every so often they'll run no solo supplement. More often than not, that no solo supplement is over in Europe because they're trying to get people to go on over to Europe to get on the ship. But they will run that no solo supplement from time to time. It's a great solo travel. It's a very social ship. All of the lady ships are very social. A lot of great ways just to meet people, hang with people. One question I've got for you guys, anybody out here who's a solo traveler, and I actually asked Stephanie before I came on, would you guys prefer a ship that is like 100% solo people, or do you like traveling as a solo traveler on a regular cruise, where you're going to have a mix of people? I'm just kind of curious. Because in some ways I can see where a solo only cruise would be really, really cool. And another way I can see it might not be the best experience, but I'm really curious to those of you who are solo travelers, would you prefer a ship that is 100% solo people, or would you prefer a ship that is normal, but you get to travel as a solo without paying, the double price? Desiree, thank you so much. You are so kind. Thank you for the super sticker. Really, really do appreciate that. You've been a supporter of ours for a long time, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially on this pop-up Thursday night. So yeah, hey, Nurse Tara brings up a good point since we're talking about Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages put out the most unsubtle tease ever of any cruise line. In fact, I'm wondering why I was blind. There we go, wrong glasses. Their latest tease clearly showed the Statue of Liberty, the Seattle Space Needle, flamingos, which are probably Miami, and then a star. And, it's funny, we had a little debate. We, immediately LA, right? The ship's going to LA. But then my wife, Rebecca, said, well, Texas is the Lone Star State. I guess there's a possibility that Virgin could stop in Galveston before it goes through the Panama Canal. But yeah, so Virgin Voyages is going to be announcing new itineraries on May 1st. They're saying that it is going to be a brilliant reveal. So brilliant lady, looks like she's going to be based in the States rather than over in Europe like she was supposed to be originally. So that is going to be truly, truly exciting. So stay tuned on May 1st. VirginVoyages.com is where they're going to do all the reveals. I can't get any information out of Tamika, my rep. I'm like, can't you just tell me something? She's like, nope. So I'm trying to find out, guys. If I can get some, advance notice, I will. Sarah, you're going on the Solo Ocean View in June. Lovely, lovely. There are quite a few Solo out there. Kaylin's answer is you prefer a mix of people. That's what I would think. Sarah, you prefer a mix of people. Solo only could be creepy, especially if it's a small river cruise and you can't get away from that one creepy guy. Oh my God, that's freaking hilarious. Yeah, that's kind of where I would be, that creepy stalker person on the ship, right? Especially a small one like that. Hey, Act Normal, May 1st. May 1st is when Virgin Voyages will release their new itineraries. They're going to do it at 12 o'clock Eastern time on virginvoyages.com. So we will all be tuned in to see that. So it's going to be really, really exciting to see that. But yes, on the one hand, I see where a solo only, cruise would be super, super cool. But on the other hand, I can see how it could get a little creepy potentially, but yeah. User 586. Hi, Jim. You're doing a 4-day on the Utopia in October. Anybody else going on the brand spanking new Utopia of the Seas? Again, I don't think there's any solo cabins on that one. Wow, man. Desiree says she goes solo. You take Norwegian or Royal Caribbean. They have solo cabins. Absolutely. So Norwegian is the second cruise line that is solo friendly. They probably have the most solo cabins of any mainstream cruise line out there. And in fact, over the past year-ish, they introduced 1,000 new solo cabins across the fleet. So basically, they took double occupancy cabin, recategorized them to solo. But they did say that they can flex that. So if they need more, they'll change some more. If they need less, they'll change them back to double occupancy. And I think that is the model for cruise lines right there. Would be to do a flex solo system, right? You don't have to have dedicated solo cabins. You can just say, hey, on this sailing, we're going to have 20 cabins that are going to start out as solo, and we'll keep them as solo until final payment date. We'll see what happens, and then we can flex them back. I think that would be like the best of all worlds. It absolutely would be. So Desiree said she only takes cruise lines that has solo cabins. I mean, that is definitely one way to do it. Support those who are supporting you, right? Instead of forcing you to pay double, and that's just not right. Act Normal. Any solo balcony staterooms on NCL? If so, I'm sold. Yes. So you better reach out to me tomorrow because there are a lot of solo cabins that are balconies. In fact, I've got solo balconies on Royal Caribbean as well, like true solo cabins. On Royal Caribbean that are actual stonking balconies. So yes, so now you owe me a phone call because you said you're sold. So you're going to have to call me now. But yeah, that was part of the reorganization, the recategorization by Norwegian Cruise Line, where they took some solos and they recategorized them. I think it's the BT category. It's all the T category. And the cool thing is, if you get a solo balcony on Norwegian, if you take any of the solo cabins on Norwegian, this is the super cool thing. They have the studio, of course, that they're famous for, but then they have a solo insider, which used to be a double occupancy cabin. They have a solo ocean view, which used to be a double occupancy cabin. And they have a solo balcony, used to be a double occupancy cabin. But you get access to the studio lounge, which is cool. So you don't have to stay in a studio cabin anymore on Norwegian to use that studio lounge. I think that was a very, very clever idea. Yeah, Act Normal, you better give me a call because I'm going to be waiting for
So that's really, really funny. Let's see. Banjo Morris, with MSC in the game, do I see Hapag-Lloyd or Mazurek getting into the game? I'm so sorry. Are you talking about the cruise line game? I'm not exactly sure which game you're talking about. If you want to go ahead and clarify, I'll try to give you an answer. I don't know if you mean luxury, but yeah, just if you'll clarify the question, I'll be more than happy to try to give you an answer. Absolutely. And then Kathy, well, let's see, Nurse Tara, you're not a solo traveler, but I like how Norwegian has a solo lounge along with the cabin, right? That's a really, really good idea. You know, it's a I get it. I get it. All right. I'll be over there in a second. Yeah, so Norwegian really, they're the only one that I know that really has that solo lounge, which is a clever idea, right? So it kind of gives you a space where like you can meet up with other solo travelers, but you're not trapped with those solo travelers. So that is pretty cool. Jen is asking, how would you meet Rebecca and Walter on a solo only cruise? Well, I would stay on one end of the ship and Rebecca will stay on the other end of the ship. And there you go. So we'll be two solos. That's how it would work. I'm so sorry. I see that Kaylin has a question, but I'm going to come back over here. The question about Hapag-Lloyd and Mazurek, you're right. Those are cargo cruise. Those are cargo lines. MSC is the largest cargo line. MSC has been in the cruise line game 20 years now. They've actually been in the game a long time. Well, maybe more like 12 years. But they've been in the game for a while. And they're about to become the world's largest cruise line, just in terms of the number of ships, because they're building so doggone many ships. I have no idea if any other container company is going to get in. I mean, MSC has almost limitless funds because they are the largest, shipping company in the world. That's how they kept building cruise ships during the pandemic, because they actually made more profit during the pandemic than they had previously with all the shipping. So I don't know. I don't really know. The interesting thing to me is MSC getting into the luxury game with Explora, and they're not satisfied with just one ship. They're building 6, like right off the bat, 6 luxury ships being built right off the bat. So that's quite the order. Kaylin is asking, is it true that Celebrity Cruise Line charges solo peeps more than double? The answer is sometimes. Yeah, they do. And it's not right. It's not right at all. What Kaylin is saying is that sometimes, and we have seen this, like for 2 people in a cabin, let's just say it's $3,000. We've seen it where for a solo traveler, it might be $3,200, $3,500. It's actually more than the double occupancy, which makes no sense at all. I know that Celebrity has given the reasons why they do it. They make no sense to me. I don't believe it. I would never, ever book one of my clients. I mean, you have to really want to go on a Celebrity cruise to basically force me to book that cabin for you, because it's just not right. And there's no reason for it. But yes, they do it from time to time. However, you notice that Celebrity is on my list. Celebrity Cruises does have solo balcony cabins on the Edge class. These are infinite balconies, but they are balcony cabin on the Edge class. Not that many of them, and they are not exactly, I mean, you're still paying almost double occupancy to go into some of those cabins. Now, one of the big things about, booking a solo cabin, like on Norwegian, they do have the studio cabin, which is a true solo cabin. Sometimes it's almost the same price, and sometimes even less, just to go get that other interior, the double size interior. And sometimes even the ocean view can be really close. So that's one of the things that we'll look at too. Like if you're looking for a solo cabin, we're also going to look at the double occupancy and how much that one is, to see if that's like the same price, or maybe a better value or something else. Oh, I did answer. Thank you, Banjo. So P&O is mostly a cargo enterprise. Yeah, that's right. P&O has a ferry. They still have a ferry, or no, that's a different company, right? They were big to point out that they were a different company. But yeah, will any other cargo lines get in? I mean, cruising is white hot right now. I don't think they can build enough ships that they wanted to. So it's going to be interesting to see how long this really runs. Let's see. I got questions over here. Hey, PJ, how are you? Thank you. Nurse Tara is asking if we've seen the MSC documentary on how they built Ocean Key. I have, and if you have not seen how they built Ocean Key, you really should. It was a major toxic dump, and they turned it into one of the most pristine islands out there, which to me it is my favorite private island. It's my favorite cruise line private island in the Caribbean, more so than Coco Cay. I think Coco Cay is so built up. I love it though. I mean, it's fun, but I do love Ocean Key, and it is really interesting to see how much money and time that they put into that. Yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful island. If you've never cruised MSC, I highly recommend getting an itinerary that has an overnight. They're the only ones I know of that actually stays overnight at the private island, which I thought, well, that's kind of cool, but I wonder what it's really going to be like. It was amazing because you know how everybody does like their big beach parties and everything on the island, and it's in the middle of the blazing sun. Well, their beach party doesn't start till 9 o'clock at night. So we had dinner on the ship, saw an absolutely gorgeous sunset over the island, and then got changed, put my shorts on, went back out to the island, and the big beach party was under the stars. It was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. So, MSC gets a lot of knocks. I give it a lot of caveats when I book a client. I always let my clients know that, look, you may not get the best service. You may not get the best food on MSC. The ships are beautiful. The pools are stunning. The coffee's great. And that private island is amazing. So as long as you know what you're walking into when you get on to MSC, it can be a really fun cruise line. And of course, it is stonking cheap as all get out. As I proved today with a client, a client wanted a 1 week cruise for $3,500 for 4 people in a cabin. And I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this coming August. I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. And sure enough, I could put them in an Aurea spa balcony for $3,200, all 4 of them. So I was like, yep. You can go on MSC if you want all day long. So Aaron, hey, how are you, buddy? Is there an MSC ship me and Rebecca look forward to sailing on? So Rebecca and I, that's a good question. Rebecca and I have been on the MSC Seaside, which is the original Seaside class ship. And we have been on the Seashore, which is the first of the larger ship. What they did with the Seaside and the Sea View were the same size. And those are the ones that have the zip lines on the top. And then with the Seashore and the Seascape, which are the last 2, they made the ship, they actually added a deck. And I think the ship might have gotten slightly longer as well. The one that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and yeah, I'm sure we're going to sail it, will be that World America. I mean, the World America is basically an Oasis class ship, or Oasis class size ship. So I am really interested to see what that's going to be all about. I think, well, let's see, yeah, we're in April. So Ocean Key is closed right now because they're getting it all set up for the World America. So so I am looking forward to sailing on that one. Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting. MSC has not come out to the left coast yet. So it's going to be interesting to see if they come on out there. So, yeah. Hello from Knoxville. Hi, how are you? Douglas Cole, you saw the Aqua floated out. Need to schedule some time with you. NCL has the 500 cruise first again. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, you're right. I saw that this morning. By the way, speaking of Norwegian Cruise Line, and I haven't even gotten to the rest of my solo-friendly cruise line. Speaking of Norwegian, I just booked. You know what I love about this business is when you guys come to us with itineraries that we haven't seen yet, and it's like, oh my God! So this happened yesterday. I had a client call me, and thank you, Gary Bembridge, Tips for Travelers. He is such a nice guy. Y'all know he's the biggest YouTube channel like on the planet when it comes to cruising. And he is now recommending 2 travel agents in the United States. One of them, ironically, his name is Gary. And he does predominantly luxury cruising, and Where's Walter Travel is the other one. So that's how this gentleman found us. He recommends this person call me, and he said, oh, I want to take the Norwegian from Tampa to Alaska. And I'm like, what? Tampa to Alaska? What the heck are you talking about? He was talking about, I want to say it's 28 days. It's the Norwegian Jade. It's going to leave Tampa. It's going to do a Western Caribbean. It's going to go through the Panama Canal. It's going to go to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oregon, and it's going to do a full-on Alaska itinerary. I was like, oh my God, how did you find this? And he was like, well, I was just looking around, and there it was. And I'm like, oh my God, there it was. I want to go with you now. This is in 2025. So I want to say it's May or June, April or May, I think, because that's when the ship is repositioning to go on up there. but it's going to end up in Whittier. And I love it when you guys find these things and you come to us. We also booked our first Celebrity Flora cruise, which is the Galapagos. And I already asked the client, would you put me into a full-size piece of luggage and take me with you? I really want to go see that ship. So I digress. Douglas is asking, do other cruise lines offer solo lounges like Norwegian? To my knowledge, they don't. If y'all know of one that does, certainly shout out. But to my knowledge, I don't know of another cruise line that actually has a solo lounge like they do. I think that is rather unique to Norwegian Cruise Line. I think it's awesome that they do it. It would be nice if it would be nice, the cruise line industry is touting, hey, solo travelers are growing. And it's like, hey, why don't you start like converting some of your cabins? I mean, Norwegian already showed you the way to do it. Just take some of your cabins, like, come on, icon class, for crying out loud. You can take 10 or 20 of those cabins and turn them into solos very, very easily. Jerry, you're going to be going on the seashore in the yacht club in May. So for those of you who have never been on MSC has a ship within a ship experience, the yacht club, which most closely resembles the Haven on Norwegian. So if you've seen the Haven, however, not only is the MSC yacht club lower cost, but it actually has more inclusion than even the yacht club does. So it's a really good value. We have not done the yacht club yet. That is our next step. We don't know if we're going to do it on the Seascape or the Seashore, although those ships are going to be moving around. One of them is going to Texas next year. Seascape. One of those two is going to Texas next year, to Galveston, to a terminal that's being all redone. So that's going to be nice. But the next time we go on, we are going to do that yacht club experience. We have only done standard sailing on there. Banjo Morris, have I heard many complaints from passengers from either Carnival or Royal Caribbean leaving from Norfolk? I have not. I mean, what is there to complain about, to be honest with you? It's probably a bit of a cluster because Norfolk isn't used to having that many people, but I mean, your alternative is to be canceled. So, I mean, I would put up with whatever's going on in Norfolk to at least go get on the cruise. Obviously, no fault of the cruise lines, and unfortunately, I don't think they've found those folks that are in the harbor yet. But that is, the cruise lines are doing the best they can with the hand that they've been dealt. And, I hope people aren't complaining about Norfolk because there's really nothing to complain about. At least they're getting their cruises. The alternative, like I said, would have just been to cancel, and then they would have had to go, figure out another cruise and possibly like go up to New Jersey, New York, or go on down to Florida as their alternative. So I think both of them are doing the best they can with the hand they've been dealt. Now, commercial shipping is starting to open up in Baltimore. I did not see it. I don't think the Dolly has been moved yet. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're still waiting to get the Dolly out of there. That's a very delicate operation. So once the Dolly is out of there, then they can check the main channel. I don't think they're going to bring the cruise ships in until the main channel is open. I could be wrong, but they have 3 temporary channels open right now. So at least they can get some of the shipping going. And of course, cruise lines are very low on the list when it comes to essentials commercial shipping with that port. That port, I didn't know this, apparently brings in the most automobiles from overseas to the United States. So that's like the #1 automobile port. So obviously that's going to take President and all the ships that have been waiting offshore. They're going to take President over cruising. So where are we now? We're in April. So maybe by June we'll be back to Baltimore if we're lucky. That would be a good thing. I know Nurse Tara's keeping an eye on it because she's going out of Baltimore. I can't remember the next time. So Nurse Tara, I can't keep up with Nurse Tara. I don't know how many. What do you got? 20 cruises booked with me right now? It just seems like it. But okay, Nurse Tara said, because she lives in that area, she said they're making progress slowly in Baltimore. You suspect by summer it should be open. That's awesome. That would be truly awesome. Thank you for that. I try to keep up with it. But okay, so going back to our list, I was talking about solo-friendly cruise lines. And again, if you got questions, just throw them in there. The primary topic tonight, if you're just tuning in, is solo traveling on cruises and trying to find good solutions for you guys. If you weren't here earlier, I talked about Riviera River Cruises. They have 40 departures that are literally solo travelers only, like nobody else on the ship but solo travelers, and they are extremely solo friendly, as are some other river cruise lines that I've got listed down here, like AMA Waterways. They have no single supplement at all on select cruises. Avalon Waterways has no single supplement on select cruises. Uniworld River Cruises has no single supplement on select cruises. So the river cruise lines, they get it. And, they have far fewer cabins than anybody else. Of course, they're not carrying the lifeboats. So it is a different set of circumstances, and they're not regulated by the U.S. Coast Guard either. Like anybody who's sailing out of here is regulated by the U.S. Coast Guard. So there are going to be different rules and regulation. But I mean, but the river cruise lines at least are catering to the solos and saying, hey, you know what? We want you to come on the ship. We don't want you to have to pay double. So, come on. And trust me, the ocean cruise lines could do the same thing. They, yes, they would lose some revenue from not having that second person there, but it's not going to be earth shattering if it's only 10 or 20, if it's 0.2% of all the cabins on the ship. So I would really like to see, Norwegian is sort of kind of leading the way. The cabins are still a little more expensive than they should be. They are solo cabins, but they're still marked up a little higher than they really should be if they are true solo cabins. Alex said he loves sailing solo. He is the boss. I know. So, sailing solo on Virgin would be awesome in a balcony because somebody just hogs the hammock all the time. I never get to be in the hammock when I'm on a Virgin cruise because, there's only one out there on the balcony, which makes no sense to me, by the way. If y'all have seen the Cheeky Corner suite, if you've seen any of the suites with these balconies, but the Cheeky Corner suite especially, it was 525 square feet on the balcony. And we had one hammock. They could have put 6 hammocks out there for crying out loud. We could have had a hammock party out there, but they only put one hammock. I think Virgin needs to put some more hammocks on there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to be talking to them soon. I'm going to ask, why aren't there more hammocks out there? But and that is something that's coming on the Brilliant Lady, apparently. So with the Brilliant Lady, so I'm going to digress. We're going to jump back over to Virgin Voyages because, folks, if you live on the West Coast, you're getting a Virgin Voyages ship. Finally, we don't know when. May 1st, we'll find out, but you're getting a new Virgin Voyages ship, and she will be unique in the fleet in that they brought the lifeboats in. That's why the other 3 lady ships can't go through the Panama Canal because the lifeboats actually hang out, so they would very likely get damaged if she tried to go through the Panama Canal. When you go through the Panama Canal, you basically have to be a squared up ship. You can't have anything hanging over the ship. So with the Brilliant Lady, they reconfigured the lifeboat, so they pulled them in, and when they pulled them in, they created a situation where they had to make the balcony smaller. I'm going to guess deck 8. I think deck 8 is the deck that's level with the lifeboats. So they had to make the balcony smaller. They brought them in, so they put 2 hammocks out there. So if you're staying, I think they call it I knew the name of them, but they gave it it's a new category of balcony cabins for Virgin Voyages. So you will actually get 2 hammocks. You're going to have a lifeboat right next to you, but you're going to have 2 hammocks, which will be very, very interesting. Barbara, thanks for joining in. You travel solo and you refuse to pay that 100% supplement. Good for you. I mean, you really shouldn't be forced to do that. We have some of our friendly, what I call solo friendly cruise lines out there. And the one that might strike that you might be wondering about is Princess. I've got Princess up there as a solo friendly cruise line. The reason why I have them up there, they only have a few solo cabins at the moment on the Sun. I'm hoping that they're going to start rolling them out across the fleet, but they don't generally charge that full 200%. Now, they don't advertise at all. They never advertise like 70% solo supplement, 50% solo supplement. They never advertise it at all. But when we go to book a solo traveler, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, they're not getting charged a full, like it might be $500, $700 less instead of just being, just a difference in the port fees and taxes. Now, we never know until we try to book you onto the cruise where they're going to land. But Princess just seems to very quietly have, anywhere from a 50 to 80% supplement on their solo travelers. And they just really don't advertise it. It's just like, oh, well, there it is. There's a good cruise for you. And that's a nice surprise when we find that for our solo travelers, especially, that Princess Plus, Princess Premier package is really, really good in terms of an onboard package. So that's always, always there. Yes, Norma, wow, from Tampa to Alaska. Absolutely amazing cruise. It is the Norwegian Jade, so it's a nice size ship. It's not a big ship. I want to say 2,500, maybe 3. It might be 3,000, but I think it's more like 2,500. Beautiful size ship. So you're basically going to do a Western Caribbean. You're going to go through the Panama Canal, all the way through the Panama Canal. You're going to stop in San Francisco. Los Angeles. I want to say it's Astoria, Oregon. Then you're going to do Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, I think one of the glaciers, and then end up in Whittier. And that was actually a big surprise for me too, because Whittier is typically Princess. Typically Princess is the only cruise line that sails out of Whittier. But the Jade's going to end up there. I think the Jade's going to end up there and then reposition over to Vancouver, because I think Vancouver is where she sails out of, unless she does one ways between Whittier and Vancouver, like what Princess does. So that's going to be very interesting to see that one. I'm so excited for them. Aaron is saying he's excited for the West Coast announcement from Virgin Voyages. He can see a forensic, brilliant lady side by side in your future. That would be fun if they were side by side. They won't be, of course, because Carnival is over in Long Beach and everybody else is in, what do they call that? The International Terminal or something like that. So they're right close to each other, but they're not right next to each other. But yeah, that was quite, you know what I loved about the Carnival Forensic? If you haven't seen it yet, go look at the video that Carnival put together for The Godfather. I'm blanking on his name right now. He was so flippin' excited. Oh my God, was he having a ball? That's how it should be, right? He was just so, first of all, if you can go back and find a video of Christina Duffy letting him know that he's the Godfather, was fabulous. But then if you see his reaction today, is absolutely fabulous. He was just genuinely excited, and it was so cool to see. Of course, I would have rather been on the Sun Princess and met Hannah Waddingham. That, oh my God, what a great actress, right? But going back to solo-friendly cruise lines, I'm going to go back because I've got my list up here. Yes, Royal Caribbean has over 200 solo cabins. You just got to know where they are. We actually have a list of where all of those solo cabins are, and some of them are honest-to-goodness balconies, predominantly on the Quantum class, but there are honest-to-goodness balconies that you can get on Royal Caribbean. Celebrity Cruise Lines, if you get the infinite balcony in the Edge class, and they are not necessarily, just a solo price. Oceania Cruises, they have solo cabins on every ship except the Riviera and the Marina. Those are the two that don't have solo cabins, but every other one has solo cabins on it, and they're usually a pretty darn good rate. Then, of course, we talked about Riviera River and Yacht. They have solo-only cruises, and they have no supplement or maybe 25% supplement. Ama, Avalon, and Windstar Cruises. Those are the folks with the beautiful sails, and then they have the yachts as well. They do have solo cabins as well. So it's really interesting to me that so many of these small ships will cater to the solo traveler, but the big ships that have all this extra room, they won't cater necessarily to the independent traveler, to that solo traveler. And I really think they should. We are seeing the industry recognize it. And we were talking about it last week at the Cruise 360 conference in Fort Lauderdale. We were talking about solo traveling. Every year, the whole cruise industry gets together in Fort Lauderdale for a week. I did some certification training, and one of the things that we were all talking about was solo traveling. And what's also become big too are groups. Groups have become really, really big. I've got a big group going out in June on a ship. And in fact, we've got a bunch of really good groups going out. If you'd like to sail with us, we're going to be sailing on the Sun Princess in October, on the Norwegian Aqua in May of 25, and we're going to be on the Oceania Riviera up in Alaska in June of 25, which is going to be absolutely amazing. But yeah, so if you want to come sail with us, you can come with us on any of those groups. We would love to see you guys on the ships. I think I'm going to have to get some shirts made up. I've had some people asking me if we're going to have shirts for the groups. I probably should. I probably should. It would be a lot of fun. And again, I'll just ping you folks and let you know that if you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. We book everything for cruises, luxury, expedition, land. We've been booking a lot more land of late, to be honest with you. We're starting to book a lot of land tours. Booked our first African safari. I cannot wait till they go on that one. That's going to be amazing. It's a combination of like lake cruising and then land moving around. And they're going to stay. I think this is the one where they're staying in the tents. I gave them 4 different options. I think they picked the one where they're going to stay in the tent for a couple of days too. Oh, looks like it's going to be amazing. So Barbara wants to know, where do we sail from? A great question. So if you're talking about the groups, the Sun Princess will be sailing out of Fort Lauderdale on October 19th through the 26th. The Norwegian Aqua will be sailing out of Port Canaveral on May 31st. 2025. And then the Oceania Riviera will be sailing round trip Alaska from Seattle for 12 nights in June of 25. But typically, you know, we sail, right now we've been sailing out of Florida, but we are looking at Europe for 2025, 2026. We're definitely going to be putting together a Europe trip, and we know we've got a lot of folks that want to go with us. And we're looking at, what else are we looking at? We're looking at something else. Now I'm blanking on it. But yeah, so we're looking at Europe. When I go to Europe, in fact, if we can get people coming with us, oh, thank you, Act Normal. Yeah, we're pretty excited. You know, we're just around 18 months into this, and we booked about 900 vacations already, which is a lot. You know, for any new business, it's a lot. We are one of the fastest growing businesses out there. In fact, we got some nice praise from the executives of the Cruise Line International Association. They know who we are. The name helps. Where's Walter? Like, everybody knows the name. So I'm really glad people are getting to know that name. They really get a kick out of it. And so we're very proud of what Rebecca and I are building. It's just Rebecca and I. But we are backed by a tremendous host agency, KHM Travel Group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. There's about I think there's around 5,400 of us that all work under the KHM banner. And then our support team in Cincinnati is just phenomenal. We couldn't do this without them. So they're absolutely amazing. So, and I've had more people ask me about becoming a travel agent. I think I'm going to have to do a whole series on becoming a travel agent, because I've had a lot of people ask, and getting yourself into the right host agency is a big part of that. So thank you, Barbara. That was a very long answer for your question. I'm sorry. Betty Sims, yes, you would like to have a t-shirt. That is so awesome. Yes, I think I'm going to do that. We'll get a shirt. We'll make a shirt for all of the cruises coming up. Why not? Kaylin, wish you had found us before you booked your cruise to Alaska in June of 2025. If you see us in a port, you totally say hi, please. And, you know, if any of y'all are coming to Orlando area, you know, we're about 40 minutes away from Disney Springs. So we've met some of y'all over at Disney Springs, just to get a cup of coffee, things like that. So yeah, absolutely do reach out. So if we can help you in any way with your future travels, just reach out. We would love to. So Alex, you're in Cincinnati. Hey, how about that? We need to come up there, because y'all got a restaurant called Melt. And I'm telling you, any restaurant that does grilled cheese the way Melt does grilled cheese, I'm coming up there for real. And of course, you got Ralphie's house. So I got to go see Ralphie's house. Steven's going to be on the Apex this Saturday. Steven, oh my goodness gracious, what a ship. What a ship. I got to say, we have not been on the Beyond yet, but we were on the Symphony of the Seas when Captain Kate brought her into St. Thomas. Wow. I mean, just watching it come, it was just so graceful, just sliding in. It's just like one of the most beautiful ships I have ever seen in my life. It was just freaking stunning. So, yeah, you're right. Act Normal is telling me Ralphie's house is in Cleveland. It's been a very long day, Act Normal. So yes, you're right. It's in Cleveland. Cleveland rocks. Oh, Nurse Tara, thank you so much. She said our business is good because we both work so hard and we're so personable. We try. Yes, and we get confused a lot, because Nurse Tara not only books the same ship, she books them in the same month. And then we have to wait a minute. In fact, I actually did this, and I'm going to admit this. I'm not ashamed or anything. I actually put one of her payments on the right ship, but the wrong year. Because I got confused. And she got it. And, you know, all I had to do was call the cruise line and go, hey, I was an idiot. I put the payment on I put it on the right ship, but just put it on the wrong year. Like, oh, yeah, no problem. We'll just move the payment over. But I love that. Nurse Tara keeps us on her toes. You know, she books the same ship. She loves her ship. She loves her cabin. She's got very specific cabins that she wants. And that's probably one of the funniest things I think I've done so far. And I was so glad we were just able to fix that. So yeah. Thank you for reminding me that Ralphie's house in Cleveland. You're right. And another little bit of trivia too. They built the interior set inside a school gymnasium in Cleveland. I thought that was really awesome. I saw one of those behind the scenes things on it, and I was like, oh my God, they shot the whole thing in a high school gymnasium. That's where Ralphie's house was. It's in the gym. So yeah, that was really awesome. Where are we now? Oh my goodness, I've been talking almost an hour. I tell you what, when Rebecca's not here, just talking with you guys, this is been a long day today. It's actually been a really long week. We've had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that we're taking care of. Now, one of the big things that we do as a travel advisor, and I shouldn't admit this because now y'all are going to want us to do this. When you book a Virgin Voyages cruise, there are two big milestones with a Virgin Voyages cruise. One is if you're a rock star, 60 days out. Two, if you're a regular sailor, 45 days out. That is when the restaurant reservations go online. And the Virgin Voyages app is more or less guaranteed to crash when that happens. They go online about midnight of whatever day it is. So this coming Saturday night at midnight is going to be April 28th. That's when the reservations go online for this big group that I'm doing. So far, I have 25 requests. I have 50 staterooms that are all going to go online at the same time. So far, I think I've got 25 requests. So that is one of the things that we do as a travel advisor. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to get up, make sure I'm awake. I'm going to be logged in. And as long as the Virgin Voyages booking engine holds together, I will be booking everybody's dinner reservation because it's a lot easier for me to do it than it is for them to do it. And what Virgin Voyages does is they generally hold about 40% of the dinner reservations until you get on board. So there's only a limited number that you can actually book. And this is one of the things that we do as a travel advisor. And, somebody said, hey, I can't believe you're volunteering to do this. I don't volunteer anything, it's just part of what we do. So with the Virgin Voyages, that's going to be my Saturday night. So maybe I'll live stream that. That would be kind of hilarious. Y'all watching me try to book dinner reservations. Sam, you're leaving in 14 days to go on to Carnival Sunshine. That's totally awesome. Hello, 420 Lifestyle. Good to see you from the great state of Michigan. Nice. I was in Michigan. We did a little bit of a drive around when I worked for an ice cream company. Beautiful, beautiful countryside up there. Absolutely gorgeous countryside. We were in Grand Rapids, Detroit, and I'm blanking on the other town. But man, and some amazing ice cream. Amazing ice cream. Oh, just these little hideaway places, just amazing. So, yeah, Aaron, that's okay. You can forget about your reservations. I'm just kidding. No, please do send them over. Please do send them over. I'll be more than happy to take care of them for you. Betty is going on Virgin Voyages in 29 days. And then Rick, oh man, you're gonna at the Magic Kingdom. Oh my goodness gracious. You got to relax on the cruise Saturday. Nice. Very nice. Oh man. And who all is going out on a cruise this weekend? Anybody going out on a cruise this weekend? I'm going to what I'm doing on Sunday. So we're not going to have a show on Sunday. We're going to have a live show on Saturday. So if you're watching us right now, join us on Saturday at noontime. We're going to have Tom and Dom Travels from England. And we're only going to be on YouTube. We will not be on TikTok Saturday. So we're only going to be on YouTube at 12 noon on Saturday afternoon. We're going to have Tom and Dom Travels chatting with us. I was talking to them today. What a lovely pair of folks. So they're going to have oh my God, we're going to have a fun time on Saturday chatting with those guys. 420 Lifestyle, 296 days to your cruise. Mike Smith is heading out on Carnival Conquest next week. Sweet. We've got Alex is saying, yes, please live stream the booking. That would be hilarious. Just me setting up my phone while I'm trying to book these dinners. Yeah, that would be hilarious. There could be some swearing involved. I'm just going to say it may not be PG-13. Cheryl, Saturday, we're going to be 12 noon Eastern time on YouTube with Tom and Dom. Tom and Dom Travels. Lovely pair of folks from over on the other side of the pond. I met them today. We were chatting. It's going to be awesome. Nurse Tara has the celebrity eclipse in 25 days going to Bermuda. Alex is going in a week on the Meraviglia from New York City. Love it. And then you're going on VV in January. I'm telling you what, we've done 4 VV cruises. They are so much fun. But here's the thing, not everybody, it's still not everybody's cup of tea. And I think some people go into VV still not quite understanding what they're getting. They might think they're getting something that they're not. So we do what we call qualifying our clients to go on Virgin Voyage. And so we do it really for all the cruise lines. We try to let you know, like the honest honest truth of what to expect when you go on these ships. And I've seen some people complain about certain things that they really should have known about before they got on the ship. Either they didn't use a travel advisor or their travel advisor didn't tell them. It's one of the things that we try to do. We try to just say, hey, you're going on the ship, you really need to know this, that, and the other. Are you sure you want to book it? But yeah, no, you should have a great time on there. Mike is going on the Horizon in October and the Celebration in November. That's a nice pair of cruises right there. It's interesting when I talk to people, hey, I'll see you. Act normal. I won't be here on Sunday. I'm actually going to be on the MSC Seashore doing an inspection of that ship, getting a tour of the ship. So we'll be Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. We might do an evening show for TikTok, but right now we're doing Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. No Sunday show at the moment because I will be at Port Canaveral all day long. So, Cheryl, 11 days till Alaska on Norwegian. Ooh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous of anybody going to Alaska right now. But Mike, I was starting to say, it's really interesting between those two ships because especially when it comes to the Havana Club. The Havana Cabana area is so nice on the Vista class ship. And I will say I'm a little disappointed with how they set it up on the Excel class ship. I like the Excel class ships. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous, but the way they did the Havana Cabana kind of shortchanged that area a little bit. But of course, they do have that coffee. People, the best coffee at sea, I'm telling you right now, is on Carnival. It is at the Havana bar. You get that Cuban coffee. I'm telling you, and I love coffee. I will drink so much coffee. I've not had a better cup of coffee on a cruise ship than the Havana bar on the Carnival Mardi Gras. It was flipping amazing, absolutely amazing. So, but Cheryl, I'm so jealous. You're going to Alaska. Oh, we have to wait a year. We don't go until June of next year. We've got about 20 some folks coming with us. We've got plus or minus 40 people coming on the Sun Princess with us too. I can't wait to see that. Alex says Virgin needs to change up the deck plans. Well, they're not building any more ships, so you've got your deck plans. It's purposely done that all of the lady ships are identical, so that when you get on one, the layouts, and then the next time you come on, you don't have to figure out things. That was Virgin's idea with those 4 ships, making them more or less identical, so that you wouldn't have to learn a new floor plan. But there is something about, like what Carnival did with the Excel class. The Mardi Gras has the French Quarter, Celebration has the Terminal, and then the Jubilee has under the sea, the Currents area. So it is kind of neat when you go on a ship and you see the little nuances and little differences they made. And of course, Jubilee, they really did make a lot more than just a few changes. They made a lot of changes with that ship. But Virgin Voyages' idea was, we're just going to make it going to be like a hotel. When you come in, you're going to learn the layout, and then every time you come back on our ships, it's like coming home. And on one hand, it works. On the other hand, the net's got to go. The net absolutely has to go. I would love to see them re-engineer all of that and put a nice pool back there. Just take a look at Norwegian's Prima class. Look at the Haven pool, the way they did that back there. That's what should be on the back of the ship, a beautiful pool back there. Now they'd have to completely redo the engineering because it's not designed to hold the weight of a pool, but they could do it. They could totally do it. Fincantieri built that ship. They can figure it out. Mike Smith, do you think it's very strange that people can walk by your cabin? It's a little weird. Yeah, well, and in both sets of the Havana Cabanas, right? You can walk by the cabins. It's the same thing on the Princess. Princess now has the Cabana mini suites up there. So Princess, you can kind of walk by if you're on the sun deck. But you do have the pool. You have the actual pool, whereas on the Excel class, you have the just that little plunge pool on the one end. So yeah, that's the one thing that I think that they kind of got wrong with the Excel class. They could have done that a little bit better, to be honest with you. Let's see. Aaron, Carnival Celebration for you, November 3rd, embarks on your birthday. That is going to be so awesome. Is Brilliant Lady the same layout? Does anyone know? Yeah, the Brilliant Lady is the same. Really, the difference is that they brought in the light boats on deck 8. So those balconies are going to be totally different. They're going to be very narrow because the light boats had to come in. The rest of the layout is basically the same. as they are on all the ships. So yeah. Kathy, hey, you got some vacation plans coming up. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope we talked enough solo. We really didn't talk a whole lot of solo or as much solo as I thought we would. But yeah, Kathy, certainly give me a call, reach out. And to everybody who's watching, I mean, we are your independent travel advisor, and we book your land, sea, expedition, and cruises. I guess I left cruises off. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, it's been a very long day today, folks. My days start at about 7:30 and they end usually around 12:30 in the morning. So yeah, I'm so sorry. We really do work hard. We try to bring you guys the best vacation, and that sometimes means staying up late, doing more research, trying to get things. So I apologize if I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, just reach out. Our services are 100% free. Where's WalterTravel.com. If you're watching us on TikTok, you just simply click my logo, and there's a link tree that will come up. The first link in there is contact us. And if you're watching us over here on YouTube, just click the links in the description down below. It'll take you right to our calendar. What we do is you just reach out to us via the calendar. I call you. We talk for a bit. I do an intake call. I try to figure out what you're trying to do, and then we will pull 3 to 4 cruises. I'll call you again, and we'll go through our selection, and then we just go back and forth like that. And any services that you need for the entire trip, we provide them to you 100% free of charge. Mike is saying he's been on VB 3 times. I have to tell you, I think I'm a little tired of the VB same itinerary. Hey, Mike, I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. One of the things you look at, right? So in Miami, they usually only have 1 ship at a time. And what they're doing is they're just running it on repeat. And if you look at cruise lines like Oceania is actually a great example. So Oceania doesn't have all that many ships either. But what they do is they don't duplicate the same itinerary twice in the same year. They'll run a very similar itinerary. Now, maybe in Alaska, it's a little different because there's a shorter season. But like in the Caribbean, they'll run, 4 or 5 12-day itineraries, but each of those itineraries are going to be slightly different. They're not going to be exactly the same. And that's where I think Virgin really needs to lean into, is getting out of that rut. Going by road. Like you can't do, when you've got 27, 28 ships, you can keep 1 or 2 running that same, like the Mardi Gras. She's running east-west, 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 east-west. You can do that because Carnival has 26 other ships. Virgin Voyages only has 4, well, 3 right now. So I'm with you on that. I have been pushing hard on Virgin Voyages. I'm very fortunate that I know John DiOrio, who is the vice president of sales here in North America at Virgin Voyages. He's become a great friend of the agency. And then I've got Tamika, who is my representative at Virgin Voyages. She's been a supporter from day one. She's been a supporter even before I sold my single Virgin Voyages cabin. Never thought I'd be in the top 100. There's about 100,000 people selling Virgin Voyages in North America. We're in the top 100. That's insane to me. But we worked hard for it. And through all of that, we've gotten to know John and Tamika, of course. And I've been saying, give us some ABC islands, give us something, and they're like, and they said, okay, well, here's a couple of 7-day itineraries, but they're just, they're Grand Turk. It's the same thing. It's the same thing everybody else is doing. It's like you have to do something a little bit different when you don't have that many ships. And that is something I think Virgin really needs to learn. They need to realize that just running that same Dominican days, running the Fire and Sunset Soiree, just keep running them over and over. Yeah, people get burned out on those itineraries and you're not going to get them back. It is harder for me to sell Virgin Voyages again, except now when they did the Resilient Lady and they said, hey, she's going to be out of San Juan. Now those are some great itineraries. And they brought in some 10 and 11-day itineraries right off the bat that are phenomenal. So yeah, the Miami itineraries, they're getting old. They've got to do something with those Miami itineraries. But the itineraries, they're phenomenal. They are absolutely phenomenal. And of course, we're going to see in a couple of days what the Brilliant Lady is going to be doing. So yeah. So I hear you on that, man. I totally hear you on that. I don't really have a desire to do another Fire and Sunset Soiree or another Dominican Days or any of that because I've done them. And I'd rather go on a different cruise line and go see some different islands and go see some different itineraries. So yeah, and I encourage you guys to mix it up. Virgin is a great cruise line. We love them. But we've been on 10 different cruise lines. We're going to be on 11. Oh, we're going on the Margaritaville. We're going on the Islander. Yes, the guy who said he'd never go on Margaritaville. I am going on the Islander at the invitation of Margaritaville. I can't wait to go. They've actually become good friends of the agency. We were chatting with them last week down in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of the coolest things about being a travel agent is actually, you're getting to know the people behind the scenes. Like, it's not Royal Caribbean anymore. It's Kathy, and it's not, Norwegian. It's Lily. It's not Virgin Voyages. It's Tamika. Just getting to know them and understanding the mindset that's going on behind the scenes. And even me, like right here, talking and complaining and saying, Virgin needs to mix up those Miami. Trust me, Tamika's heard me say this plenty of time, but she's not in control. And I would never want to be those people who actually book the ports. I mean, there's millions of dollars involved in booking those ports, and you've got to do it way out in advance. So it's also possible that Virgin just really doesn't have any place to go. You kind of run into that situation where, okay, where do we go? We can't put the ship anywhere else right now. So, but they could figure it out. They could certainly figure out something, but I'm really hoping that they start to mix it up just a little bit. Betty, thank you for that. So Betty is saying, is reminding everybody that if you booked a cruise, depending on the cruise line, if you booked a cruise within the last 30 to 60 days, you can actually transfer it to us if you booked it through the cruise line. If you booked it through a travel agent, we're not going to touch it. That's just not fair to that travel agent. But if you booked it directly with the cruise line, within the last 30 to 60 days, depending on the cruise line, you can actually transfer it to us. And then we take over your booking, and then we can go ahead and help you. One of the cool things is now with Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, we can actually go into the cruise planner now for the first time. So we can book your packages. We can book your internet, your short screen. We can actually book all of that stuff for you. So yeah. Yes, Nurse Tara, that would be great if they mixed it up. Thank you, Alex. Betty would be interested in a group European cruise in 2026. I would be very interested in that too, Betty. Why don't you lead it and we'll come with you? No, I'm just kidding. That is definitely something that we're looking at, Betty. I would love to do that. Now you're wondering if the Brilliant Lady will start in New York City and go to LA. I think when the Brilliant Lady comes over, I think she's going to go straight to New York City. I think she's going to do a couple of itineraries there. Then she'll go down to Miami, do a couple of itineraries there. Then she'll go through the Panama Canal. And then her home port is going to be LA. And I bet that she'll do a couple up in Seattle. In fact, what she may do is go through the Panama Canal and go up to Seattle, do a couple of itineraries, and then home port. I think ultimately LA is going to be her home port, her primary home port. So yeah. Norma, in 113 days, you're going to Bimini for a short vacation to celebrate your birthday. Hey, you're welcome. Very, very proud to help you set that up. Barbara, thank you so much for the kind words on the solo chat. Yes, we're going to do more solo chats in the future. I think, it is something great to talk about. What don't offer? You just booked with Disney. I guess you're asking, what do I offer that the cruise lines don't offer? I'm going to guess that that's your question. First I'll just tell you straight up, our services are 100% free. So, but what we do, the main thing that we are is an advocate in your corner. So if things go sideways, that's the biggest thing. If something goes, don't apologize, never apologize. Thank you for the question. Basically, Candy is just saying, Walter, what can you offer us that the cruise lines don't? That's a great question. I get that all the time. But number one, you're going to get personal one-on-one service. I mean, you are our client, and we advocate on your behalf. And the biggest thing that I bring to you, and we've talked about this in the past, is that if things go sideways, I have somebody at Disney to call. I'm not going to call the 1-800 call center that you're going to call, and then you have to hope that you get that right person that actually knows what they're talking about so they can fix the thing that you're trying to fix or correct the thing that you're trying to correct. I have an actual person with a direct phone line to call that person. I think that's one of the biggest things that we bring to you. And of course, we can take care of all the arrangements. So we're a full service travel agency. So if you need flights, you need hotels, you need transfers, you just need us to talk through, you need somebody to talk through, hey, explain to me how this ship worked. What are all these things on the deck plans? What advice do you have for the various excursions? What advice do you have for the various islands? I mean, we do that too. I've had 1-hour conversations with clients that don't involve booking anything, just answering questions. Hey, can you answer this? And the other big thing that we have is we present options that you might not have thought of. And we do that a lot, where a client will come to us and say, I want to go on XYZ cruise line and I want to go in August and I want to do this itinerary. And we'll say, well, great. You mind if we take a look at a few other things? And then we'll come back with maybe 3 or 4 that they didn't know were there. And maybe that's a better itinerary, or maybe it's a better price, or I can get them a higher level cabin, than what they thought they could. So yeah, that's exactly how that works out. So that's what I like to think, is that we bring you the personal service. Plus, we'll try to give you a little something on all the cruises. I mean, that might be some onboard credit. It might be gifts when you arrive in the cabin. But I think the number one thing, and I know that I've had people, in fact, we just helped save somebody this week who needed transfers in Cocoa Beach. It's when things go sideways. We're your one point of contact to get the answers. We do our best to get the answers. We have people that we can call. We rely on them to respond to us, but we do have people that we can call directly. So we advocate on your behalf. So yeah. Mike, since we and the other TAs offer our services for free, do we get compensated by the cruise line? Yeah, so that's how it works. So all of the travel partners have commission built in. They're already built into the cruise fare. So if you book directly through Royal Caribbean, you book through me, it's going to be the same price. The commission's already built in. It's just, if you book directly through the cruise line, they just keep the commission instead. And that is how it works. Now, some of my colleagues have started charging a planning fee or a cancellation fee. I'm hoping that we don't have to do that, but that is a growing trend right now in the industry, that people are starting to charge a fee. I hope we don't have to. I figure that if we do our jobs right, the commission take care of themselves, and we are compensated for our work. But yeah, that is exactly how it works, Mike. And it doesn't matter. It's cruise lines, hotels. Just the airlines don't work with us anymore. But pretty much all the other partners do work with us. And the commissions vary. The commissions vary, one, obviously based on the stateroom and how much you're paying, but also to the travel partners. Some travel partners pay more. They have these things called, and I'm going off on a tangent, but they have these things called non-commissionable fares. And that is part of the commission, part of the fare that we're not going to get paid for. So say it's a $1,000 fare. They're going to say, hey, this $300, you're not going to get paid on that $300. So your commission is going to be based on $700, not $1,000. But they play games like that too. But you get used to it. You get used to it. Hey, Alex, thank you for that. So Alex is saying, keep the sales reps coming on the live streams. You like getting the insider info. I'm glad you said that, because I've got quite a few coming up. Yeah, that was one of the things at Cruise 360. I was talking to quite a few of our cruise partners, lining them up to come on the show. So yeah, I am really working on getting a lot more land tours. I think next Thursday might be Rero, one of our land tour partners. But yes, I am working to get more and more. Riverside Cruises is coming on. Margaritaville is coming on. Celestial Cruises is coming on. Azamara is coming on. So yeah, I'm really working on getting this Thursday night lineup so that you don't just have to see me babbling to you guys. So I am working on it. Yay. Nurse Tara, that's a great question over here. Nurse Tara said, is it true that the cruise lines are going to start posting fares that include the port fees and taxes? So this is a big game that the cruise line play. This is a game that I do not play. So Candy, if you're still watching, this is another thing that I do that the cruise lines don't. When I present a price to you, it is the cabin price, and it is all in. It is the fares, the taxes, the port fees, the taxes, everything is in there. So there's no surprises. So one of the things that the cruise lines like to do is they will, in their advertising, they will say, $3.99 to get on the ship. And in very small letters, it'll say port fees and taxes excluded. There's a new California law coming in. I think it's May 1st is when this new law starts. You can't do that anymore. If you're going to advertise a price, all the fees and taxes have to be in there. Now, the one sticking point that we don't know are the gratuities. As of right now, the Carnival Corporation has actually announced, and the Carnival Corporation is all of their cruise lines, Princess, Carnival, Holland America, Seabourn, Cunard. So they are now, instead of just advertising California, they are going to across the board, all of their advertising is now going to include the port fees and taxes right up front. So the price you see is the price you're actually going to pay. Now, it's probably still going to be per person, so you're still going to have to do the math, but now you can actually do the math. So yes, the Carnival Corporation itself is going to start posting all of the fares with port fees and taxes included. And I think that's a really good thing. I don't like those games when you think you're going to get a cabin for $399 and then that cabin costs $600 because they didn't put all the fees and taxes in it. That's really not fair to you to get you all excited about it. And then they put a little bait and switch on there. So that's why, and I get this all the time. Hey, Walt, I'm looking at the website right now. It's $100, it's $300, it's $500 cheaper than what you're showing me. I said, yeah, because port fees and taxes aren't there. Go ahead and put your room in the cart. Once you put it in the cart, then the port fees and taxes show up, and all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, well, you're right. It's the same price. So we have been going a long time here, folks. This is usually just a 1 hour chat, but I'm having a good time. Hey, Steve, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. We're going to be talking tomorrow about cruises. Yes, I always love talking about cruises. You know, I love it. So Steve, who's over here on TikTok, he just went on his very first cruise, and he got the bug. He's like, well, we got to talk about another cruise. And, I was talking to Tom and Dom Travel today, and I found out one of them was the same way. I didn't want to go on my first cruise. Rebecca dragged me onto a ship. And a couple days in, all of a sudden, I'm booking another cruise. And then we're booking 2 more cruises. So, man, I'm telling you, once you become one of us, join us. Come to the dark side. We have cookies. Okay. Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to ramble with you guys a little bit tonight. I try. Thank you, Nurse Tara. Thank you, everybody. I'm just having fun. I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I really love, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for supporting us and allowing us to be your travel partner. It's a lot of work. I work on very little sleep sometimes, but I never thought I would love it as much as I do. I think I almost like this more than making television shows. I almost enjoy this more than making television shows. Television shows definitely a little bit more fun, but I'm enjoying this almost as much as doing this. So folks, over on the YouTube side, I'm going to sign off over here first. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Now, Saturday afternoon, 12 noon, join us Saturday afternoon. Tom and Dom Travels is going to be here. Oh, so before I sign off on YouTube, somebody just asked me what shows that I make. The one show that everybody knows me for is Good Eats with Alton Brown. That was the big one that I did. Good Eats with Alton Brown. I was the animator, the editor, post-production supervisor, all of that good stuff. And I'm in a couple of episodes too. So if you watch the show closely, you will see me in a couple of episodes, both in the animations and also as an actor. So, okay. And with that, hey guys, on YouTube, Saturday, 12 noon, come join us on Saturday, 12 noon with Tom and Dom Travels. Y'all have a great evening. And over here,